Monster Hunter is one of the biggest gaming franchises you've probably never heard of for years now. With Monster Hunter World, the series broke into the mainstream and came to the PC, much to many gamers' relief, and now, it's one of the best PC games you can play to date. Monster Hunter World puts you in the shoes of a monster hunter, and you'll hunt increasingly bigger and meaner monsters, strip them for parts, and craft bigger, badder armor. It's a deviously simple gameplay loop that ends up being one of the most compelling and rewarding PC games you can play right now. There's an incessant onslaught of content in this game, and Capcom, the developers of this monster hunting hit, are committed to bringing a wealth of free DLC to the game, as well as a new frosty expansion in Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. If you're looking for an addictive, immersive and most importantly, fun game to play on your own or with all your closest friends cooperatively, Monster Hunter World is the PC game of your dreams. There's no doubt it's one of the best PC games you can buy today. While it's arguably not as hard as earlier titles in the series, From Software's Dark Souls 3 takes everything you like about the Souls series and improves on it by blending it with elements found in Bloodborne, the developer's more recent title for PS4. We won't sugarcoat it. You're going to die in Dark Souls 3, perhaps more than once. It takes patience to master its complex combat system, but it also plays fair, which makes it more approachable for casual players so they too can take part in its bleak, fantastical world. And on the bright side, it's much more optimized for PC than the first two games. Now that you can pick up Dark Souls, remastered, and see where the apocalyptic series began, there's never been a better time to link the first flame. It's not hard to see why Control has taken the gaming world by storm. The creative team at Remedy Entertainment made sure to pack this title with plenty to love, paying very close attention to the intricate details. A deeply cinematic game, this action-adventure offers its players staggering visuals, inspired environment design and brilliant performances, not to mention a deeply satisfying combat experience. Control places you in the capable shoes of fiery-haired Jesse Faden. You're tasked to seek out the oldest house, a building in New York City that's in a constant state of architectural flux and only appears to those who desire to find it, and locate your missing brother, all while heading the Federal Bureau of Control as its director and overseeing the containment of paranatural entities. There's nothing quite like Control on the market, and it makes it one of the best PC games to play right now. Beyond its impeccable graphics and its excellent peripheral support, it won't take you long to realize that the Microsoft Flight Simulator is a labor of love. There's a great attention to detail here, as well as a level of realism and immersion you won't find elsewhere. So much so that if you're not a fan of flight simulations, you'll want to start getting on the bandwagon. Though that also means this game won't be for everyone. Still, if you're a flight sim fanatic or you love planes and flying, you'll relish the chance to fly iconic vehicles in some of the most beautiful yet dangerous locations and conditions in the world. If the name Norman Reedus is what got your attention when someone mentioned Death Stranding, well then you're in for a treat. However, this game is getting a lot of attention for more than just the big names attached to it, which incidentally include Mads Mikkelsen and Léa Seydoux. As Porter Sam Bridges, you bravely traverse an apocalyptic United States to deliver valuable cargo, navigating lands overrun by terrorists, bandits, and these invisible creatures called beach things. This award-winning action game is a treat to all the senses as well, thanks to its great storyline, which may be reminiscent of the current pandemic, good gameplay, fun quests, and impressive sound and visuals. The newest release from Rockstar Games was an instant hit upon release. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an engrossing western following Arthur Morgan and his gang as they try to survive a fictionalized Wild West as outlaws on the run. However, the game is much more than just that. Advertisement. Whether it's getting lost in the story, following through on every side quest to its conclusion, or just bonding with your horse, RDR2 is one of those games where you can easily sink 50+ hours into and still have something to do. The gameplay is stellar and the graphics are gorgeous. You can even run the game in 8K if you have the hardware. Definitely give this a look if you haven't already. Doom Eternal takes everything from the remastered Doom of 2016 and turns it up to 11. The game is intense, visually and sonically overwhelming, and is exactly what you would expect a fever dream inspired by Doom would feel like. The gameplay is a seamless first-person shooter where you trek into hell to battle an assortment of never-ending demons and reclaim an overrun Earth. Refilling your health sometimes requires quite literally tearing monsters apart, and there is some need to be creative with your weapon choice, depending on what demon you're facing. However, this game is all about creating havoc and rushing into battle as loud and as brash as possible. Advertisement. Not only is Doom Eternal a hell of a ride, pun intended. It's also a gorgeous-looking game that takes advantage of the newest hardware. And it's a 2v1 multiplayer mode where one player takes control of the Slayer and faces off against two more player-controlled demons. No game has been as anticipated for as much or as long as Half-Life 3. So, as gamers will have to wait a little longer for it, Valve has graced us with what may be the most compelling reason to get a VR headset with Half-Life, Alyx. Half-Life, Alyx is set 5 years before Half-Life 2. What starts as a rescue mission for the protagonist's father evolves into attempting to steal a superweapon from the alien overlords. From the interactive puzzles, the well-thought-out combat, and the fantastic story, this prequel is a welcome dive back into the Half-Life world that has been universally praised for its quality. If you're looking for an excuse to get into VR gaming, this might be the one for you. Half-Life, Alyx's attention to detail shows what can be done with VR when taken seriously. When Horizon Zero Dawn hit the PlayStation 4 in 2017, it was instantly hailed as one of the best games of the year. And with its recent release on PC, Guerrilla Games has brought this amazing game to a whole new audience. Even though the game has technically been out for a few years, it is still absolutely gorgeous and can now take advantage of higher-end PC rigs for higher resolution and frame rates. Advertisement. The game follows Aloy in a post-apocalyptic world where she has to battle robot dinosaurs and human cults while unearthing a tale that is as intriguing and complex as it is beautiful. While an open-world game with a female protagonist using a bow and arrow might be a little too reminiscent of Tomb Raider, Horizon Zero Dawn quickly leaves the comparisons behind for a unique and immersive experience. Monster Hunter is one of the biggest gaming franchises you've probably never heard of for years now. With Monster Hunter World, the series broke into the mainstream and came to the PC, much to many gamers' relief, and now, it's one of the best PC games you can play to date. Monster Hunter World puts you in the shoes of a monster hunter, and you'll hunt increasingly bigger and meaner monsters, strip them for parts, and craft bigger, badder armor. It's a deviously simple gameplay loop that ends up being one of the most compelling and rewarding PC games you can play right now. There's an incessant onslaught of content in this game, and Capcom, the developers of this monster hunting hit, are committed to bringing a wealth of free DLC to the game, as well as a new frosty expansion in Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. If you're looking for an addictive, immersive and most importantly, fun game to play on your own or with all your closest friends cooperatively, Monster Hunter World is the PC game of your dreams. There's no doubt it's one of the best PC games you can buy today.